What's going on YouTube? Bad Influence back out here. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be taking my Endura rock buggy and turning it into the MEUS Bronco. The reason before this is I got the brushless kit in from Little Guy Racing Parts yesterday, and after installing it in the rock buggy, I don't like the layout of it. There's not enough room to really place things to keep them nice and clean underneath the chassis here. So since I built this one in the last video that y'all saw, I'm gonna go ahead and take all the suspension and components out of the rock buggy here and move them over to the Bronco. So that's what this video is gonna be about today. Stick around, I hope y'all enjoy. All right, y'all, so starting this thing off, I'm gonna go ahead and tear down the rock buggy here and get everything out of that before I start swapping anything over. So I'm just gonna get that thing broken down now. All right, y'all, there you have it. Got the rock buggy all torn back down. Got all the suspension, the brushless setup and everything all still together, so it's easier to put into the new body and chassis. Got the electronics here. I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna place them. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the breakdown. Pretty simple, nothing too crazy to do there. I do plan on rebuilding the rock buggy, but I'm gonna do it with the stock components from the original JLU. I still have the motor, the electronics, and everything I need, so I can still make another buggy out of that stuff and just keep it with more stock components. And it worked great before I put the wheel weights that I had whenever I had the stock components still in there. Between the wheel weights, the heavier bigger tires, the 63 millimeters on the heavier bead locks, before I put those onto the rock buggy, it worked great. So I think I'm going to keep it simple with that one and just rebuild it with mostly stock components, and put the other set of tires on it that I have from the JLU. Those are the green ones that you saw in the video for that build. So that's going to be it for the rock buggy for now, until a later video whenever I start building that one back together. So now we're going to move over and start building the Bronco. So I'm going to get that set up and then we'll start putting it all together. All right, so I was going to start putting it together with the axles and control arms still connected for the lower links, but that's giving me a little bit of a hassle and getting in my way right now. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the lower links off as well. That way I just have the skid plate and the motor assembly to work with while I'm getting it into the frame. And from what I was seeing, I might actually end up having to change up where the body mount goes on this piece over here, because the way the brushless motor is sitting, it appears to be hitting that piece. So I might have to modify that or remove it completely and figure out another way to do the body mount. But we'll see when we get to that point. So I'm getting the front axle finished up and being installed. Just getting the shocks screwed in right now. Might have to flip them over because they seem to be dragging on themselves though. Or I might need spacers on the top mounts of them because they're angled over a little bit. So I'm gonna look in my spare parts here and see if I still have spacers from one of my other setups, and then I'll get those added in and swap them around and see how they perform after that. All right, y'all, so I found the spacers that I was looking for, so I'm gonna add one of those in and see if that helps the shocks perform a little bit better. Hopefully it does, otherwise I got to figure something else out that's going to be a little bit more time consuming. But yeah, getting this added in is gonna keep the shock away from the frame a little bit. And that seems to be a little bit better. Let me get this side swapped out. That way they're both able to move free. Yeah, just loosening up the screw for this side without having the spacer in there so far already tells me that I need the spacers, which is fine. That's why I keep parts. Little tip for y'all if y'all are getting into this hobby. Whenever y'all work on builds, don't throw away parts and extra hardware if you have it. You never know when it's going to come in handy, like right now where I needed these spacers, and if I would have thrown them away, I would have had to order a new set of shocks that came with spacers. So luckily I didn't have to do that. Now if I can just get this to line back up on the hole. Oh, dadgummit. Hold on now. This is where, like in the last video where I was talking about having big fingers making things difficult, this is part of it. Tiny little parts that you're having to try to line up in small little spots. There we go. All right, yeah. So adding those spacers helped out with the shocks working how they're supposed to. So now I'm gonna work on getting the rear axle put back in, and then I'll start sorting out my electronics and getting those ran and everything hooked up, and we'll be able to drive this in a little bit. Alright, so to mount up my electronics, I'm using some heavy duty Velcro that I got off of Amazon. Some really good heavy duty stuff. So I'm just going to place a piece right here in the back on this little tray that they designed for the electronics. And then I believe I'm going to have them lay out like this. Or maybe like this. I think like this will work. I'm gonna take a look at that for a little bit and see exactly how I want them to lay out. Alright, so I figured out how I wanted to mount the electronics. So I ended up laying them sideways. That way I still have easy access to the on-off switch here. I got the extension for my battery hookup. It places all of these connections facing forward, but in a position where they're not hitting anything. And then I took the excess wire for the steering servo and zip tied it over to the side here. That way it's not interfering with anything inside the body as well, or inside the chassis for the motor. So that's how I have all the electronics laid out. Next thing is going to be finishing up the Bronco chassis, which is going to be the last of the chassis pieces, which is just these little skid plate looking things. And then I can put the rest of it back together and we can give it a test drive. So y'all stand by for that. If y'all have been enjoying this video so far, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. That way I know that the videos I'm making are doing good for what y'all want to see. And also, if y'all have any pointers, tips, or anything that y'all would like to see in the videos, drop a comment below. That way I also know. Because if y'all don't tell me, I'm going to think that I'm putting out content that y'all want to see. And if I'm not, I need to know so I can make y'all some better content. So stick around. I'm going to finish things up on this and then we'll give it a little test drive. All right, y'all. So I got these little sliders put on, if that's what you want to call them. Just little extra pieces for the chassis that came with the MEUS kit. So now that I got those on, I'm going to go ahead and start getting the wheels back on, and then I'll get the body put on as well. I still got to figure out where I'm going to put the Velcro to replace the piece that was right here. I don't think it'll work anywhere else. I mean, I might be able to super glue it here and be able to get it to work. I'll have to play around with that, but that'll be a small detail to figure out after the fact. But I'm gonna start getting the wheels put back on and get it all set up, and then I'll get the body put back on. So here we go. All right, got the wheels back on, so now I'm gonna get the body mounted back on here and keep moving forward. Should have got the screw set up before I got the body in place, but oh well. All right, y'all, so I got the body on here. I had to do a little bit of changes to it. I had to take out the little interior pieces that had the fake people, and then I had to remove another little piece back here to get the electronics to fit. I'm having an issue figuring out how I'm going to be able to keep the front closed. Because of where the motor sits, I can't use the original spot that goes across right here. I tried super gluing the carbon fiber piece on top, but it doesn't want to seem to hold. So yeah, I'm struggling a little bit to figure out how I'm going to get that to stay in place. But for now, since I have everything together, I'm going to go ahead and run it just a little bit for y'all. But I have everything in with the Micro Komodo brushless system and the Lizard Pro electronics. I have Black Label 63mm tires on it with Trill bead locks. I was able to get a deal for Labor Day weekend from LGRP for the controller, the electronics, and the brushless motor and the transmission. Everything together was, I want to say, $145. Wasn't too bad, so I went ahead and jumped on it. You can see up here my my Velcro fiasco going on up here for the trying to get the front end to stay closed. But I'm going to go ahead and drive it around just a little bit for y'all. And that's going to be it for this video. So stand by for just a little bit and we're going to drive it. Definitely climbs a lot easier now that I have the brushless system in here. When I had this on the rock buggy, after adding the heavier tires and the wheel weights and everything, as I was climbing up this little foam roller setup I do just to test things out until I get my course built, it definitely struggled getting up. I had to punch it a little bit more. I wasn't able to slow crawl it like I can now. But overall, definitely impressed with this brushless setup. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more tweaking to get this the MEUS body figured out. But overall, I definitely like the look of it. It's a cool little chassis kit. For any of y'all that might have this out here, if y'all have any tips on how to secure the front end with that forward-facing brushless motor, drop a comment below and let me know. That way I can try to get that figured out. But everything else I like about this little chassis. Later down the road, I might get another chassis to try out. I still have the C10 sitting up here that I can do stuff with, and I have a couple pieces that I might make a video with here in a little bit. But again, I hope y'all enjoyed this video and seeing kind of the progress of the MEUS chassis build with this Bronco body on it. I have C10 front links or rear links on the front. That way it stretched it out just a little bit. I do have Gladiator and deadbolt links that I could use either on this chassis or on the rock buggy chassis whenever I put that one back together with the other pieces I have. I might leave this one on the length that it's at. It seems to be a pretty decent length. Just got to figure out these this body mount for the front, how to get that to stay closed. Might have to check out some videos here on YouTube and see what other people might have done to keep that closed. But this is it for now. If y'all enjoyed this video and the previous one for this chassis, please hit that like button and subscribe to keep up with what else I do. I still have the light bar that I could put back on, as well as the lights that go in the front. I don't know if I want to put those in just yet, but this is going to be a fun little buggy whenever I can get it out on some other obstacles. I have the ones that I use here in the living room, like y'all have seen in previous videos, but I do plan on getting a tabletop or something. I have a table I can use that's outside, but use that and use some of like the expanding foam to create some obstacles with that. That'll be a lot of fun for when it's raining, like it is now, because I live in Florida and it rains almost every afternoon during the summer. But as of right now, we're scheduled, it looks like we're going to have rain almost every day for the next week and a half. So I'm going to have to start getting creative, especially when my son gets here, so we can do some more obstacles, because he absolutely loves playing with these things. But that's going to be all for this video. Hope y'all enjoyed, and until next time, Bad Influence out.